ever had to punch a woman?
Mm-hmm.
And?
There's one I'd like to punch more than just punch.
Still to this day?
Still to this day.
Country music has given the world unforgettable legends, but not every story was clean. Behind the fame, hidden romances and secret affairs left heartbreak in their wake, shaking the very foundations of Nashville's brightest stars. Join us as we reveal 15 old country music cheating scandals that will shock you, starting with George Jones and Tammy Wynette.
Darling, if you were just...
George Jones and Tammy Wynette were once celebrated as the first couple of country music, but behind the glamorous duets and adoring fans was a marriage filled with betrayal. Both artists were already scarred by past relationships when they wed in 1969, and for a time, their union seemed like a perfect pairing. But George's ongoing battles with alcoholism and Tammy's rumored affairs soon painted a darker picture. Stories swirled that Tammy grew close to other men, while Jones was off on drinking binges, and Jones himself was accused of stepping outside the marriage. Their arguments were legendary, often violent, with Tammy once claiming George chased her through the house with a loaded rifle. Although Tammy sometimes defended him publicly, whispers of cheating followed them throughout their short-lived marriage. By 1975, the relationship collapsed in divorce, leaving fans stunned that the couple who sang so convincingly about devotion could not hold it together in real life. Yet, ironically, their post-divorce duets like Golden Ring became massive hits, songs about love and heartbreak sung by two people who knew the pain of betrayal firsthand. The scandal didn't ruin their careers, but it left an unforgettable irony that their love story was both their greatest triumph and their most painful downfall. Coming up next is Hank Williams I and Audrey Williams.
Brand new recipe.
Hank Williams Sr., the original honky-tonk hero, lived a life defined by brilliance on stage and chaos off it. His marriage to Audrey Williams was as volatile as his music was timeless. From the very beginning, their union was marked by turbulence. Hank's heavy drinking and infidelity clashed with Audrey's own ambitions and fiery temper. Reports of Hank's cheating became almost as common as his hit records. He was known for womanizing during tours, slipping into romances while on the road, and leaving Audrey to raise their son, Hank Jr., amidst the wreckage. Audrey, in turn, wasn't immune to her own scandals. Some insiders alleged that she too strayed, making the marriage a battlefield of accusations and betrayals. Their fights were brutal, often spilling into public view. Divorce came in 1952, just months before Hank's untimely death at age 29. Audrey was left as both the grieving widow and the scorned ex-wife, a complicated role that added to her infamy. The tragedy of Hank's short life was compounded by the chaos of his marriage. His cheating, though often overshadowed by his alcoholism, showed another side of the legend, a man torn between passion, addiction, and reckless desire. Today, Hank's music is eternal, but the scandal of his faithlessness remains a haunting reminder of how his personal demons shaped his legend. Following that, we have Loretta Lynn and Oliver Doolittle Lynn.
Pretend we've never met.
Loretta Lynn built her legacy on brutally honest songs about marriage, cheating, and heartbreak, and much of it came from her own life. Married at just 15 to Oliver Doolittle Lynn, Loretta's decades-long relationship was riddled with betrayal. Doolittle, often called Do, was notorious for his affairs, and Loretta herself was never shy about admitting it. In interviews and her autobiography, she spoke openly about how he cheated on her repeatedly. Sometimes, even with women Loretta knew personally, their fights were fiery, sometimes violent, and Loretta often used music as her way of fighting back. Songs like Fist City and Don't Come Home a-Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind weren't just catchy hits, they were direct responses to her husband's infidelity. Despite his wandering eye, Loretta stayed with Do for nearly 50 years until his death in 1996. She once admitted, "He wasn't a saint, but he was mine." The scandal of their marriage wasn't hidden. It became the very heart of her music, resonating with women across America who knew the sting of a cheating man. Loretta turned pain into poetry and betrayal into art, proving that even the darkest scandals can give birth to timeless songs. Her marriage remains one of country music's most infamous examples of enduring love in the face of constant infidelity. Up next, we have Willie Nelson.
Just like me.
Willie Nelson, the red-headed stranger himself, is as famous for his complicated love life as he is for his outlaw music. Married 4 times, Willie's relationships often ended in scandal, many fueled by infidelity. One of the most infamous stories came during his marriage to Shirley Collie. Shirley once opened a hospital bill addressed to Willie, discovering charges for the birth of a child she hadn't given him. That baby belonged to another woman, Connie Kupka, who would later become Willie's 3rd wife. The shocking revelation destroyed his marriage with Shirley, but Willie wasn't done. His union with Connie eventually unraveled too, again over cheating rumors and his wandering lifestyle on the road. Even in his later years, Willie has joked about his unfaithful past, admitting that his biggest weakness was women. Yet, for all the chaos, Willie somehow turned scandal into charm. His openness about his mistakes, combined with his legendary music, softened the blow. Songs like Always on My Mind took on added weight, as fans knew he was often singing from a place of regret. Willie's cheating scandals didn't just shock, they became part of his outlaw mystique. He wasn't pretending to be a saint. He was the real, flawed, messy figure who lived out the very heartbreaks he sang about, making his music feel all the more authentic. Moving along, Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash are remembered as one of country's great love stories, but it began with betrayal. When Johnny met June, he was married to his first wife, Vivian Liberto. Their marriage was already strained by Johnny's drug use, long absences, and rumored affairs, but June's presence sealed its fate. Johnny and June's chemistry was undeniable, both on stage and off. Fans adored their duets, but behind the scenes, Johnny was still a married man. His relationship with June grew into a full-fledged affair, with Vivian left heartbroken and betrayed. The scandal was explosive, especially in the conservative climate of the 1950s and 60s. Eventually, Johnny and Vivian divorced, and Johnny went on to marry June in 1968. The couple endured their own struggles with addiction and turmoil, but their love became iconic. Still, the shadow of how it began never fully disappeared. Johnny's cheating was painful for his first family, and Vivian spoke openly in later years about the devastation it caused. Yet fans chose to romanticize the Cash Carter love story, turning a scandal into legend. It remains one of country music's most famous cases of infidelity, a reminder that even fairy tale romances often begin in betrayal. Continuing on, Glen Campbell. Glen Campbell's velvety voice and crossover success made him a country pop superstar, but his personal life was scarred by affairs and scandals. Married 4 times, Campbell's relationships were often chaotic. During his career peak in the 1970s, rumors of cheating followed him everywhere, but his most notorious romance was his affair with Tanya Tucker. Campbell was in his mid-40s, Tucker just 21 when their relationship began. Both were already stars, and their fiery love affair burned hot and messy. Campbell was still legally married when he and Tucker went public, sparking outrage. Their fights were legendary, often spilling into tabloids, and allegations of cheating on both sides only fueled the fire. The relationship ended in flames, with Tucker later describing it as abusive and turbulent. For Campbell, it left a stain on his reputation. His cheating and public scandals distracted from his music and added to the image of a man whose personal life was spiraling out of control. Yet, Campbell's voice and talent endured, and later in life, he found redemption through sobriety and family stability. Still, his affair with Tucker remains one of country's most infamous cheating scandals, an explosive mix of fame, betrayal, and heartbreak that fans could never forget. Now, let's turn to Tammy Wynette and George Richie.
Give me one more.
After her stormy marriage with George Jones, Tammy Wynette's personal life continued to be tangled in scandal. Her marriage to songwriter and producer George Richie was filled with rumors of infidelity and darker whispers of manipulation. Tammy's friends and even her daughters later claimed that Richie was controlling, pushing Tammy into questionable decisions and affairs to maintain her career. One of the biggest cheating rumors involved Tammy herself. allegations swirled that she had affairs during her marriages, though she often denied them. But one public scandal came in the form of her supposed kidnapping in 1978, which some believe was tied to marital strife and possible infidelity. While Tammy always insisted it was real, skeptics, including some close to her, suggested it might have been a cover-up for personal issues, perhaps even an affair gone wrong. Whether true or exaggerated, Tammy's reputation was forever tied to cheating scandals, her own and those around her. Her heartbreak anthems like Stand By Your Man carried a heavy irony, given her chaotic love life. By the time of her death in 1998, Tammy was both a beloved icon and a tragic figure, remembered for her powerful voice, but also the cheating scandals that haunted her story. Next on the list is Merle Haggard.
I guess I grew up.
Merle Haggard's rough-edged outlaw persona wasn't just an act. His personal life was as turbulent as his songs suggested. Married 5 times, Haggard's history was peppered with affairs and betrayals. His second marriage, to Bonnie Owens, was troubled by infidelity on both sides. Merle was known for straying on the road, swept up in the temptations of fame. But the most talked about scandal came during his relationship with singer Leona Williams. Haggard married Williams in 1978, but their union was plagued by cheating rumors. Fans speculated that Haggard had been unfaithful even before their marriage, and their fights became well known in Nashville circles. Williams eventually left him, citing his affairs and inability to settle down. For Haggard, cheating wasn't just personal, it seeped into his music. Songs like Always Wanting You hinted at forbidden love, written from the perspective of a man tangled in desire outside of marriage. These confessions only deepened the intrigue around him. Though his infidelities tarnished his personal life, they also reinforced his outlaw image. Haggard was never polished or perfect. He was flawed, messy, and brutally honest, qualities that kept fans listening even as his cheating scandals made headlines. Another name you need to hear, Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is beloved for her warmth and larger-than-life personality, but even she has faced whispers of scandal. Married to Carl Dean since 1966, Dolly has always insisted on her commitment, yet rumors of affairs have dogged her career. The most persistent gossip tied her romantically to Porter Wagoner, her longtime duet partner. Their chemistry was undeniable, and while Dolly has denied any romantic involvement, the rumors of an affair lingered throughout the 1970s. Another scandal involved Dolly's own admission of what she called her affair of the heart. Though she never revealed details, she confessed that she had experienced emotional infidelity, which nearly drove her to despair. Fans speculated endlessly about who the man might have been, fueling further gossip about her marriage. Despite the rumors, Dolly and Carl remained together, with Dolly often laughing off the speculation. She has admitted that Carl was jealous at times, but insisted they had an understanding. For Dolly, the cheating scandals never overshadowed her towering career, but they added an air of mystery. She turned whispers into intrigue, and instead of scandal destroying her, it only deepened her legend. In the end, Dolly's grace allowed her to survive cheating rumors, with her image largely intact, a rare feat in country music. Following that, we have Conway Twitty.
And I cry.
Conway Twitty, the smooth-voiced crooner known for his romantic ballads, was no stranger to cheating scandals. Married 3 times, Twitty's relationships often unraveled amid rumors of affairs. His career demanded constant touring, and with fame came temptations he didn't always resist. One of the most persistent rumors involved his longtime friendship and musical partnership with Loretta Lynn. Their chemistry was so strong that fans and tabloids speculated endlessly about a secret romance. Both Conway and Loretta denied any affair, but the whispers only grew louder as their duets dominated the charts. Beyond Loretta, Conway's private life was marked by confirmed infidelities that strained his marriages. His second marriage to Temple Medley was particularly troubled by his affairs, which ultimately contributed to their divorce. Twitty's reputation as a ladies' man may have helped his image on stage, but it caused chaos behind the scenes. His songs about love and devotion carried a sting of irony for those who knew his personal life. Though his cheating scandals were never as explosive as some, they left a complicated legacy. Fans adored him for his romantic voice, but those close to him knew the truth. Conway's real-life romances were far messier than his song suggested. Coming up next is Tanya Tucker. Tanya Tucker burst onto the country scene as a teenage prodigy, but her adult life quickly became mired in scandal, especially her relationships. Her affair with Glenn Campbell was one of the most infamous in country history. She was barely in her 20s. He was twice her age, and their love affair was fueled by passion, jealousy, and betrayal. During their time together, cheating rumors ran rampant. Both accused the other of straying, and their explosive fights became tabloid fodder. Tanya later admitted the relationship was chaotic and damaging, describing it as both passionate and toxic. But Campbell wasn't the only scandal. Tanya's reputation for wild living led to whispers of other affairs, sometimes with married men, further fueling her image as country's rebellious bad girl. She seemed to live the very songs of heartbreak and betrayal that made her famous. Though the cheating scandals tarnished her reputation at times, they also fed into her outlaw mystique. Tanya was unafraid to push boundaries, even when it came to love. Today, her affair with Glenn Campbell is still remembered as one of the most shocking cheating scandals in country music. A fiery romance that burned too bright and left scars on them both. Moving along, Kenny Rogers.
Oh, yes, I'll always want you.
Kenny Rogers, the legendary voice behind The Gambler, built a career on heartfelt ballads and crossover success. But in his personal life, Rogers was far less stable. Married 5 times, his relationships were often marred by infidelity and scandal. In his autobiography, Kenny openly admitted to cheating in his early marriages. His whirlwind lifestyle, constant touring, and temptations of fame led him into affairs he later regretted. One particularly painful breakup came during his marriage to Marianne Gordon. Though Kenny often spoke highly of her, Gordon later admitted that his cheating played a major role in their divorce. Despite his confessions, Kenny's charm and honesty allowed him to weather the scandals. Fans admired that he didn't try to hide his mistakes, instead acknowledging them as part of his journey. Songs like She Believes in Me carried even deeper meaning when listeners knew the turmoil behind the scenes. In the end, Kenny Rogers' cheating scandals didn't define him, but they revealed the contradictions of his life. A man who could sing about loyalty and love while struggling to live it. His honesty about his failures only added to his legend, painting him as both flawed and unforgettable. Continuing on, George Strait.
Bottom of the page.
George Strait, often called the King of Country, has maintained one of the cleanest public images in the genre. But even Strait has faced whispers of scandal. Throughout his long marriage to Norma Strait, rumors occasionally surfaced about affairs on the road. While never proven, Nashville insiders long speculated that George wasn't always the faithful family man he appeared to be. Part of the intrigue came from the contrast. Strait cultivated an image of tradition and wholesomeness, making the idea of infidelity even more shocking. Some reports suggested that Norma knew of his wandering eye but chose to stand by him regardless. Unlike other stars, George avoided public meltdowns or tabloid exposés. Still, the cheating rumors followed him quietly, adding an undercurrent of scandal to his otherwise pristine reputation. Whether true or exaggerated, the whispers of cheating showed that even country's most untouchable king wasn't immune to temptation. His songs of heartbreak and longing took on added depth, leaving fans to wonder how much came from lived experience. Though never confirmed, the rumors themselves became a scandal, proving that in country music, even the cleanest stars can't escape the shadow of betrayal. Now let's turn to Patsy Cline.
I've got the record.
Patsy Cline's soaring voice made her a legend, but her personal life was far more complicated than her angelic vocals suggested. Married to Charlie Dick, Patsy endured a rocky relationship marked by fights, jealousy, and infidelity on both sides. Charlie was known for his temper and his own affairs, but Patsy wasn't innocent either. Close friends later revealed that she had extramarital romances, including rumored affairs with fellow musicians. Her fiery personality and time on the road made temptation hard to resist, and Patsy often clashed with Charlie over their mutual betrayals. Their marriage was passionate but volatile, swinging between love and chaos. Patsy's songs like Crazy and I Fall to Pieces carried the weight of a woman who knew heartbreak firsthand. not just as a performer, but as someone living through constant infidelity. Patsy's life was cut tragically short in a 1963 plane crash, leaving fans to remember her as a rising star silenced too soon. Yet, behind the legend lies the reality. Her marriage was as stormy as her songs were beautiful, and the cheating scandals added another layer to her legacy. Patsy Cline remains beloved, but her personal life showed that even icons of purity lived with shadows of betrayal. And finally, Elvis Presley. Though remembered as the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley's roots in country music are undeniable, and so were his cheating scandals. His marriage to Priscilla Presley was one of the most high-profile unions in music. But behind closed doors, Elvis was notoriously unfaithful. From his time in the Army to his years in Hollywood, Elvis surrounded himself with women. Affairs with co-stars like Anne Margaret became open secrets, and Priscilla later admitted that his infidelity was constant. She herself eventually strayed, but it was Elvis's endless cheating that shattered their marriage. The scandal was amplified by Elvis's image. He sang tender ballads and gospel hymns, but his personal life was riddled with betrayal. Even after his divorce, he continued his pattern of short-lived affairs, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts. Though his career never truly suffered, Elvis's marriage to Priscilla became a cautionary tale of how fame and temptation could destroy even the most glamorous love stories. For fans of country and rock alike, Elvis's cheating scandals remain a shocking reminder that behind the crown of a king was a man who couldn't stay faithful. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more untold stories from country music's hidden past. And before you go, check out the other videos on your screen. You won't want to miss them.